Ayo, what's up, Killas? It is your final girl, Mel, and this is my Killer Podcast, and today we are talking 90s. Our buddy Tim Talks Talkies challenged the community to drop a list or a video to him of our top 25 90s movies. And I have to say, it sucked. It was terrible. I hated every minute of it. I have so many movies that I love and cherish that came out of the 90s. This was an awful experience. I spent 4 days breaking down a list of 44 movies to try and encapsulate the top 25, and I still came out not even sure if this is the list that I want. I literally could have had 3 to 4 completely different top 25 lists out of all the 90s movies. For sure, I could have had 4 or 5 different movies fall into each spot on the top 25 list. Tim, I want to thank you for putting this challenge out to the community because it really gets people talking, it really gets people motivated, and it really gets people thinking about different kinds of movies. So I appreciate this and I appreciate you. And stay tuned. Here is my list. I want to start off by thanking all of you for joining me today. If you are new here, I'm not only on YouTube, I am also on a bunch of other social media platforms. Kill the description box below and you can find links to all the things, merchandise included, and I am on Patreon. But without any further ado, let's get into it. I'm not going to make you guys suffer through an honorable mentions list because honestly, it would have taken me even longer to come up with which movies I thought would be good honorable mentions. So we're just going to dive right into it. Number 25 is TMNT 2. I do enjoy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original movie. Don't get me wrong, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 is by far my favorite out of the 3. It is the most entertaining for me, and it's the one I watched the most when I was a kid. So that is my number 25. I am going to preface this that I don't have physical media releases for all of these. I do own a lot of these on streaming, and getting a physical media release of some of these hasn't been easy. However, my next one is The Frighteners, which I do not own a physical media release for, but I watched this movie so much, and I absolutely love Michael J. Fox, and it's just a fun, good time. Number 23 on the list is Romy and Michelle's High School Reunion. This is not a movie I watch a lot now, but this movie was pretty pivotal in shaping me as a young person. That and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, which doesn't fall on this list, but that is just one of those movies that very easily could have. Those 2 movies specifically determined what I went to school for and what I do for a living. So, had to be on my list, Romy and Michelle's High School Reunion. Next up is Boondock Saints. This movie was so great when it came out. I absolutely love it. This made me fall in love with Norman Reedus. It's just a fun, good Irish time. Number 21 on my list is Tank Girl. I have a slew of Tank Girl comic books, but I also own Tank Girl streaming. I did used to own it on VHS. I no longer do now. That is a regret of mine, but I do own it streaming. This movie is absolutely awesome. It's just a weird movie, and I watched it all the time. So it is on the list. Next up, we are going to talk about a movie that nobody really talks about, and that's Foxfire. This is an Angelina Jolie movie. This is about a group of girls that have to team up and help each other kind of survive. It's a dramatic coming of age movie, but I relate to it quite a bit, and I watched it a lot. So that is why it falls at number 20 on my list. Number 19 on the list is The Faculty. This movie is a sci-fi thriller, maybe horror-ish type movie starring Josh Hartnett. I absolutely love this movie. It is a good time. I watched it a whole bunch too. You guys are going to see a running theme on this list. A lot of these movies are just ones that I watched all the time. Some of them I still watch all the time now, not going to lie. But The Faculty at number 19. Number 18 is Brain Scan. This is another movie that I watched a lot when I was a kid. I was a huge Edward Furlong fan, and by that I mean I had a huge crush on him when I was younger. I absolutely fell in love with his room in this movie, and this one is also just a weird movie. And if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It is super, super good. Number 17 on the list is The Fifth Element. I just recently got my hands on the 4K. I haven't watched it yet. I'm a little disappointed I don't have a slip for it, but whatever. Mila Jovovich is in this movie along with Bruce Willis. This is a fun sci-fi comedy. I absolutely love it, and the fashion in this movie is out of this world. Number 16 on the list is Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Kristy Swanson. Yes, not the TV show, though I really did love the TV show with Sarah Michelle Gellar, but the movie with Kristy Swanson was one of my absolute favorite movies. It is hilarious, vampire flick, nothing but a good time. And I also really, really loved Kristy Swanson when I was younger as well. Coming in at number 15 on the list is The Chase. This is another Kristy Swanson movie, but it also stars Charlie Sheen. And it's just about these two people that run away and they're in this car chase. Pretty much the entire movie takes place in this car during this chase. And it's thrilling and it's fun and it's just a good time. Honestly, do I think that it's an all-time great movie? Not necessarily. It's just pivotal to my nostalgia and my childhood because I watched it all the time. This is also one of those VHSs that I just wore out. Number 14 on the list is The Long Kiss Goodnight. This has Gina Davis in it and Samuel L. Jackson. This movie just really pumps up that woman action figure, that gal kick-ass hero that I love. One of the things you guys probably notice about me is I really love my chick ass-kicking movies. Well, this is definitely a chick ass-kicking movie. Gina Davis is awesome in this movie. She portrays a woman who has amnesia and then later kind of figures out who she is and comes to find out that she is a bit of a badass. So definitely check this one out if you haven't seen it. It is really good. Samuel L. Jackson is all time in this movie, I swear. Hilarious. Number 13 on the list is Pet Sematary 2. This is also one of those so bad it's good movies. It's the sequel to Pet Sematary. It also stars Edward Furlong. You guys are going to see a trend in some of these movies that I like. A lot of the same actors in them, but honestly, a lot of these actors in the 90s were just big stars back then. This movie is cheesy and it is definitely a B movie, but I absolutely loved it and I definitely think you should check it out if you haven't seen it. It's not talked about enough, honestly. Coming in at number 12, ooh, we're getting close to the top 10, is Demolition Man. I feel like a lot of people are going to have this one on their top 25 list of the 90s because Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes are just all time in this. Them playing off each other in this action thriller, this action sci-fi thriller is just amazing. And some of Wesley Snipes' lines in this movie are so quotable and so hilarious. Absolutely loved this one. I'm still rocking the snapper case just because this thing is all time. And I still watch this movie on DVD quite often. Coming in at number 11 is going to be kind of an off the wall one. It might be a little shocking to some people, but those of you who know me quite well will know that this is not a surprise at all because this kind of ties in with my weird humor. And that is Kingpin. But also those of you who know me know that I ride or die for Woody Harrelson. So Kingpin is about a guy who bowls and he is a professional and he's really good and he gets into an entanglement in the beginning with some ruffians at the bowling alley and they take his hand and he now has a hook. And this is a very quotable movie and it's hilarious. It also stars Bill Murray, who just plays this really out there character. I don't want to give too much of the movie away because it is absolutely hilarious. This is one of my favorite comedies. It's a little sick. It's a little twisted. I feel like that it suits me quite well, to be honest with you. But Kingpin definitely is ride or die at number 11. All right, guys, we're getting into my top 10 90s movies, and I am just I don't know why I'm so nervous about this. I don't do top 10 lists for a reason because I like so many movies. I've literally been called too lenient on YouTube because I have just a love for so many movies. There's not a lot of movies that I will just sit here and be like, I absolutely hate that movie. Maybe that would be an easier list for me to make, is a top 10 movies I absolutely hate or something. Kill the comments below and let me know if you want that list. But these top 10 movies, yes, they are some of my favorite movies of all time. They could definitely be interchanged with any of the movies that came before it at any given time, depending on my mood. So I'm just gonna put that out there. However, number 10 on my list is Army of Darkness. I also have the 4K. Army of Darkness. I am a huge Bruce Campbell fan. I absolutely love the Evil Dead series. This movie falls into that series. This is one of the more out there, outrageous ones, but I absolutely love it. I love Bruce Campbell, and some of these releases are just all time. I love this artwork. It is crazy cool. They changed it a little bit on the Blu-ray. I actually haven't opened the Blu-ray because I was watching the DVD and then I watched the 4K with the Blu-ray, so now I don't really have a reason to open this one. But the DVD also came with this groovy slipcover that has these awesome stickers on it. So this DVD is just a fun release all on its own. But yeah, Army of Darkness. Okay, I'm going to stop that. Number 9 on the list is Scream. Yes, Scream had to fall on the list. It was such a game changer in the 90s for horror in general. So I'm sure this movie is going to pop up on a lot of people's lists. I'm sure it's going to pop up higher on some people's lists than mine. But when we start getting into my top 5 are my ride or dies for reals. But Scream had to make the list for sure. Number 8 is Hackers. This is also an Angelina Jolie movie. It's a coming-of-age movie about a group of computer nerds, I guess you would say, that are hackers and they're really good at it. And it's kind of a fun, weird little movie. And I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid. It's definitely one to check out. I hope that eventually it'll get, a new release and maybe 4K or something like that, because I absolutely love this movie. So check it out if you haven't seen it. This one was released by Shout Factory. So if you don't own it, maybe they still have it. I don't know, but definitely a good flick. Number 7 on the list is Death Becomes Her. Meryl Streep, Bruce Willis, and Goldie Hawn are in this movie, and they play the most ridiculous characters that I have literally ever seen. I have never seen any of them play such oddball characters. It's almost kind of a sci-fi, not necessarily a thriller, but maybe a sci-fi comedy. As you can tell, there are some shenanigans that go on in this movie. It's called Death Becomes Her for a reason. I don't want to give too much of this one away because it's just such a weird movie, but it's one that I watched all the time, and my momster actually really loves this movie, so that's part of the reason why I think I have such nostalgia for it, but it is truly a good one, so Death Becomes Her. All right, number 6 is True Romance. Another thing that you guys need to know about me is I was a huge Christian Slater fan when I was younger. I absolutely loved him. I don't know that I necessarily crushed on him as much as he just played in a lot of movies that really spoke to me. This movie is so good. It's an action thriller, and it's about these two people trying to make a play at life, honestly. And I just absolutely love their relationship in this movie. They are in it to win it for each other, and the lengths that they go in this movie to protect each other and just be together is outstanding. True Romance. I do have the Arrow limited box, which I absolutely love. This is my favorite, one of my favorite Arrow editions that they have put out. It is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. All right, guys, this is it. My top 5 90s movies. I don't know, I'm nervous. All of these movies, I can say the exact same thing about all of them, is I've watched Watched them all hundreds of thousands of times. They've made me the person I am today. They give me all of the feels. These movies truly hit parts of my heart, my soul, and my brain that no other movie has, and that is why they fall in my top 5. These movies are pretty much interchangeable in between 1 and 5, but I put them in the order that I felt they needed to be in on this day. Tomorrow it might be different. Number 5 is Pump Up the Volume. If you guys have been hanging around my channel for any extent of time, you guys absolutely know that I love this movie. It's another Christian Slater movie. This is the reason why I started a podcast in the first place that ultimately led to my YouTube journey. Thank this movie. And if you haven't seen this movie, definitely check it out. It is very inspiring about finding your voice and having things to say. And I will always love this movie, and every single time I watch it, it makes me want to jump on here and make a video, or it makes me want to re-up the podcast again, which I am really having lots of thoughts about doing, but I don't know how I'm going to do it going forward. I don't know if I'm going to keep the same format or change it, but we'll see. You guys will be the first to know if anything happens, but definitely Pump Up the Volume at number 5. All right, number 4 on the list is Empire Records. If this movie isn't on everyone's top 25 or top 50 list, I don't even know what life is about for you, because the soundtrack alone for this movie is all time. Every single character in this movie is amazing, and their performances are top notch. And this is one of the best coming of age movies I have ever seen. And you know what? He may have been a bit of a dick, but Rexy really was so sexy. Number 3 on the list is The Crow. I am assuming that this movie will be on a lot of the top 25 lists. At least it rightfully should be. The Crow is a very well-made movie. It's dark and ominous. Brandon Lee is all time in this movie. He did such a great job, and we lost him way too soon. Number 3. It can't rain all the time. All right, guys, coming in at number 2, and rightfully so. This one was pivotal to my childhood, but it's also probably going to be on everyone's list, and that is one of the greatest action movies of all time. Terminator 2. Yes, as you guys know, I absolutely loved Edward Furlong back in the day, and this movie was one of his best performances, best roles, right alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton. Oh my God. She was amazing in this movie. You guys know I like my lady ass kicking movies, and it doesn't get any more lady ass kicking than Linda Hamilton in this flick. She also reminds me of my momster a little bit when she was younger, so that gives this movie extra points. But I always wanted to be so badass like her in this movie, and I don't think that I have succeeded in that. But Terminator 2 at number 2. All right, last but certainly not least, I'm wondering how many of you know that this is going to be my number 1, Natural Born Killers, starring my man, Woody Harrelson. This movie is such a weird flick. And yes, I understand that that is a theme with a lot of these movies, and that is just what my taste is. I like the weird, bizarro, slightly comedic, but slightly horrific movie. And those are the movies that I like the best, and Natural Born Killers is no exception. And the star-studded cast that is in this weird-ass movie is insane. Tommy Lee Jones is in this, playing a character he has never played before or since. Robert Downey Jr. is in this, playing an equally as weird character. And then you have Juliette Lewis just being her awesome self, and she is beautiful. And then we have Woody Harrelson, the complete stud muffin in this flick. But also, we have Tom Sizemore in this movie. We did just recently lose him. He plays an outrageous character in this movie. And last but certainly not least, Rodney Dangerfield makes an appearance in this movie. And he is not the Rodney Dangerfield that you guys probably know, the inappropriate comedian. He plays a very dark, character in this movie. So that casting plus the story, the plot of this movie is just outrageous. I urge anybody who hasn't seen this movie to definitely check it out, but I'm sure most people probably have seen this movie. To be completely honest, it is a masterpiece. To me, anyway. To me, this movie is an all-time masterpiece. So there you have it. This is my number one. Those are the reasons why. I also, like I said, I ride or die for Woody Harrelson. I don't know what it is about him, but he speaks to me, okay? That is it. That is my top 25 90s movies for Tim Talks Talkies challenge, if you will. Kill the comments below and let me know. Did any of these movies fall in your top 25? And also, let me know if you haven't seen some of these movies and if you will be watching them because they're in my top 25. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I'm sorry if this video is a little long. I did have 25 movies that I am very passionate about, so I have things to say about them. But if you would like to help support me and my channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and kill that bell for your girl, and share me with your friends if they need some movie recommendations from the 90s. Y'all on over to my Patreon, see what's cropping in over there. But until the next time we gather, have a killer day. Peace.